In this video, we're going to talk about every tradesperson's favorite admin task, scheduling. Now, scheduling is an art, especially when you have multiple crew members, multiple jobs. You're also relying on other trades to make sure that they're on time so that your crew can come in at the right time and can continue on what they need to do. Typically, you would handle this through a scheduling app or something like Google Calendar or Outlook Calendar. And so I'm going to show you a better way. So you might already have the calendar set up, which is completely fine. You can even use your existing calendar and then you just integrate the company brain system with it to handle your scheduling intelligently. And so what we're going to do here is type or talk to the company brain system and have it manage the schedule automatically for you. And so there's a couple things you're going to need. One is obviously you're going to need some kind of calendar system. So whether that's the existing system that you have or you're setting up a new one, just something for the data to live so that the system knows where to look and what to do. The second thing is you're going to need some sort of profiles of your staff. And the reason for this is because you want the system to know who you have on your team and what their capabilities are and additional information like that. So it can put the right person in the right place at the right time based on the project and client requirements. And so once you have these two things in place, it's very straightforward. I'm going to open up the home screen on my phone. And if you remember in the first video, for system one, we had the project and client intake system, which allowed you to easily capture information for new clients and projects and also update existing projects. And I'll link that video in the description so you can see how that works. But I've also added another button, which is called scheduling. Scheduling is specifically designed to draft the right email based on what you told it to send it to the scheduling assistant who's going to manage your schedule for you as if you were talking to a real person, like an office manager or administrative assistant. What we're going to do is a couple things. We're going to take the first example client, which was Mark Thompson for Thompson Electric, and we're going to schedule some text for his job. And then what we're going to do is also reschedule some of the other jobs that you see on the calendar here, just so you can see the system do multiple things at once. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the scheduling. It's going to ask me to type or speak my message. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to use the mic because it's just easier and faster for the demo. Can you schedule a tech for the April 1st start date for the Thompson Electric Langford project? The client also wants to do a walkthrough sometime in the next 2 weeks, so please schedule the appropriate person for that as well. I would also like to move the cooler install quote for the Machosen Farm Market to sometime in mid-March, and also move the exhaust fan belt replacement for the Langford Pub and Grill to the second week of April. So I've given it a couple of things there. I'm going to go ahead and hit done. I'll let it draft the email to the scheduling assistant so I can see what it's doing and make sure it's all correct. Okay, so it's drafted the email. It says, can you have the scheduling assistant schedule the following for the relevant projects based on the information below? Can you schedule a tech for the April 1st start date of the Thompson Electric Langford project? I see it had a typo there. So I'm going to edit that to say the client also wants to do a walkthrough sometime in the next 2 weeks, so please schedule the appropriate person for that as well. I would also like to move the cooler install quote for the Machosen. The only downside of talking to it is sometimes you have to be really clear. Machosen Farm Market to sometime in mid-March, and also move the exhaust fan belt replacement for the Langford Pub and Grill to the second week of April. So there you go. So that's some pretty vague information except for the April 1st. So the scheduling assistant's going to have to do some work to kind of figure out where things need to go based on the schedule that we have in place. Now, the next 2 weeks looks like it's fully booked. So it's going to have to find somewhere to manage that time. And you can see here that there's a reason why we have the review process is so that you don't just send it off and hope that it interpreted what you said. You actually just have to quickly double check to make sure that the information is correct. So that looks good to me. So I'm going to go ahead and hit send, and then we're going to let it do its thing. And so while it's doing that, we're going to go to the Company Brain dashboard here, and you can see that there's a schedule tab. And so within the schedule tab, it shows kind of a mirrored view of your calendar with all of the jobs scheduled or listed that are scheduled, and it shows how many jobs are scheduled per day. And if I click on a date, it will then expand it and show me all of the jobs in more detail. It shows me the technician, it shows me the time, it shows me the customer and the location, just at a glance so I can see what's going where and when. It also gives me the option to cancel the job directly from here, just to quickly cancel it if for whatever reason I don't want to send an email to the brain for it to do it. So you can see that if I go to April 1st, there's nothing scheduled. There's actually nothing scheduled for the rest of March either. So we're going to let the scheduling system do its thing, and we'll see what the outcome was once it's done. So I just got a notification saying that the task was queued successfully, which means that it's now being processed. Now, because it's scheduling and it's doing a lot of things at once, it could be up to 5-10 minutes before it actually does what it needs to do. So you could be off doing another thing while the scheduling system is taking care of it. So we're just going to wait and see what it does when it comes back. So I just got a notification that the scheduling task has been done. It took about 4 minutes. And so we're just going to review to see what it had to say. So the Thomson Electric Langford scheduling tech for April 1st walkthrough and rescheduling cooler and exhaust fan belt job. All scheduling tasks are complete. Here's a summary. So it scheduled the Thomson Electric Langford job for April 1st, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. And it's got the 2 crew members there automatically scheduled along with the location. And then it's also got the Machosen Farm Market cooler install, and it's moved the quote to from February 19th to March 16th. And then the produce cooler quote from February 25th to March 18th. So we're just going to go to a calendar and make sure that everything looks good. So if we can see here, the Machosen Farm walk-in cooler install quote, 10:30 to 1, was originally scheduled for February 19th. If I refresh this and go back to my jobs, that job is no longer there. It has been moved. And if I go to next, you'll see here that the Machosen Farm Market walk-in cooler install has been scheduled for March 16th, and the other one has been scheduled for March 18th. So those 2 jobs have been moved, and they've automatically got their tech assigned. And you can also see that the Langford Pub and Grill job was moved to the 2nd week of April, which is the 7th. So that looks great. So that worked exactly the way that we want it to. The same thing for the custom home HVAC install. So if I open up Wednesday, April 1st, you can see here that I got my 2 technicians scheduled for that date for that project. Another thing to know is if I click on this project, it'll actually take me to the project detail page so I can see more information about that specific project. And it's also got the notes, basically everything that's been done for that project so far. So anytime there's a change, it gets added to the notes so I can see a history of everything that's been done. I want to see where it's scheduled the site walkthrough. So I'm going to go to all clients and I'm going to find Mark Thompson, and I'm going to click Mark Thompson. And you can see here, it's filtered all the clients to just the 20th. Within the next 2 weeks is what I told it. And it's scheduled for the 20th, and it's scheduled Raj, and he's going to do the walkthrough on the 20th. So if I go to the 20th and expand that, you can see here that I have all of my jobs listed for that date, and I can just double check to make sure that Raj has no conflicts. He's supposed to be doing a baseboard heater replacement in Fernwood at 12 to 1:30, and then he's got a site walkthrough in Langford from 2 to 4. So that gives him about half an hour to travel from job A to job B. So that should be enough time. Obviously, you can adjust the parameters if you want to add 30, 45 minutes between jobs. But the system knows that that's what it needs to do. It needs to allow a buffer and schedule things accordingly to make sure there's no conflicts. Now, the last part is when you schedule jobs or reschedule jobs or cancel jobs, you want the client to know that that's happened. We just scheduled 2 new dates for the Thomson Electric job. And so I just received, as I'm kind of the sample client, I just received an appointment confirmation confirming my site walkthrough on February 20th at 2 p.m. and who's coming. And I also received one for my start of my HVAC installation, which is Wednesday, April 1st at 8 a.m. with the technicians. And then I will also receive a 1-week reminder. I'll also receive a 24-hour reminder, and I'll also receive a 4-hour reminder, which basically makes sure that me as the client is aware that you're coming, and it prevents no-shows and things like that. You can adjust the frequency in which the emails send if you need them to be sent differently. So I told the system what I needed to happen, and it found the information and it moved everything around based on just me telling it what I needed it to do. So that is the scheduling system, which is system 2 of the 7 core systems of the company brain. I hope this video was helpful, and I'll see you in the next one.